3, 2, 1, let's jam. Hello, you. How you doing? Hanzo here at the Hanzo Honey House. We're going to get into our 666th video on this platform that you're watching this called YouTube. That's crazy to me. Is it crazy to you? It should be crazy of some degree. 666 videos on the platform. We're going to keep going best we can. We thank you for watching. And in turn, we have another 5 games that I want to talk about, I want to showcase, and I want to highlight, where possible, games that are, at this point, somewhat forgotten to time as time works against us. So, let's get to it. 5 sporting games that I, Hanzo of the Hanzo Honey House, believe there should be a remake. Let's get into our first game here. So, as you may know, we are big baseball fans. And back in the day, the Nintendo had a lot of baseball games. Except this one was different than the other ones. It was called Baseball Simulator 1000. 1000 being you bat 1,000, you have a perfect hitting average. It had the standard affair of baseball, as you can see. We're baseball fans. That was my character from Power Pros. That's another game I should talk about, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, this baseball game has the standard affair. You have normal teams, and then you have these, magically powered teams? You'll see what I mean in a sec. So, everything starts out right. You got your scoreboard, you got your billboards and things of that nature. But here we go. We got the first pitch. Swings and a miss. Strike one. Some new icons on the screen. It's kind of weird. What's that about? Lightning bolts. What? He hits that ball, and what is this? He is jamming on the bases, and it was like a tornado? Whirlwind? What was that? Let's see that again. Phil throws his stop ball, literally stopping in time in front of you, disorienting your timing. He throws another one. Could be a fastball, could be a slow ball. We don't know. Breaks the bat because I mistime it. We counter it with our own special. Hits a foul ball. So there are teams in this game that have magic abilities, best way I can put them, where you either have super fast pitching, or you have stop balls like that, you have shadow balls, you have a whole bunch of stuff. And then on the offensive side, you have characters that have disorienting hit arcs, rocket balls that when you hit somebody, they literally get blasted to the fence. Or you have like disorienting to the sense of it creates a 3x3 shadow on the field, so you don't know which ball is actually the ball. I feel this game can be fun because there's so many serious baseball games out there. We need a little bit more casual baseball experience for the casual fan who just want to sit down, swing their little stick around, and hit things out of the park. Like right here, Brett just unloaded on this ball for a 3-run home run. See, Brett gets it. So that's Baseball Simulator 1000. Let's move on to our next game. Now for our next game. This game doesn't need much of an introduction, but with the way the NBA is portrayed in game form, also known as 2K or nothing at all, this game used to be in every arcade, and it used to be the loudest thing possible with boom shakalaka's, is it the shoes, and tomahawk jams. It's NBA Jam. Now, this one came out in 2010. Funny story about this particular game. I debated on buying this on the Xbox 360. I bought it, and then a week later, they announced NBA Jam on Fire Edition. Irritating. Updated stats, cheaper price. It was out of control. So, anyway, standard affair NBA Jam. If you're familiar with the game, it's 2v2 basketball with a more modern twist. Obviously, I believe this is in the 2009-2010 NBA season. Stats and players apply. Then the cool thing about this was they actually incorporated the coaches of the team at that time. So as you can kind of see in the background there, that's Don Nelson. This is back when Stephen Curry was a rookie. And in turn, it was a debate between him and Monte Ellis as the future of the franchise. Clearly, the Warriors decided, there's Don Nelson right there. See, right there on the sideline. They made a valiant decision to keep Stephen Curry, and as of the posting of this video, Stephen Curry has 4 championships with said Golden State Warriors. So, as much as the fans are like, but we like Monte Ellis, it worked out for the better. But as I mentioned before, they did update this game with the On Fire edition, which again updated the stats. Look, there go, Mama. There goes that man. Look, there's On Fire edition right here. On Fire edition updated the rosters a little bit. Actually, while we were making this video, I found out that they actually had 2 updates for this particular game, because I vividly remember in the 360 days when I updated this game, it had the coach, I believe his name was Keith Smart, I believe. You guys can check me in the comments. But as you can tell right there, that's ESPN's own Mark Jackson in his first year as coach for the Golden State Warriors at the time, with all of his funny sayings that he has. Very quotable sayings. Like this right here. Mama, there goes that man. Look at him. Styling, profiling, all due respect. So, yeah, it was a cheaper price. It was an updated roster, and, you know, it was kind of upsetting. But in hindsight, I was talking with Honey about this. I'm actually kind of glad that I bought the physical copy, because that's a collector's thing. That's a relic at this point. So we need a new NBA Jam, EA. I see you, and you know you can hear me, but I certainly hope others hear me as well. NBA Jam On Fire Edition still available for Xbox One, so let's get into the next game. Alright, here we go. So our next game, realistically speaking, doesn't need much as well of an intro, because when NBA Jam was on fire with their tournament editions and all its updates, they took a stab at NFL, the National Foosball League, with NFL Blitz. They had multiple games in the late 90s, early 2000s, and this one was from 2011, DLC only, which is upsetting, because obviously, even though I paid for the game, which is another hot topic debate about digital versus physical, I can't show you all the teams because they weren't available in the demo. But nonetheless, it was still a game that is as iconic as NBA Jam, all things considered. So, I feel, and I know this is debatable because the NFL stands for many things, or sits for many things, or kneels for many things, and everybody has their own debate about that. But this particular game was fun. They had Tim Kitzrow, the infamous voice of NBA Jam, come back to do the play-by-play. And all of the rosters are straight up. It was kind of interesting because there were some players in this game that were inaccessible any otherwise. So I think the kick returner for the Packers here was not available as a receiver in the actual game. And of course, this was in the heyday of discount double check. Aaron Rodgers got who's he throwing to right there? Is that not Sterling Sharp? Is that him putting the team on his back? Hold on, I gotta see this. I mean, I know what I did, but I have to see it again for the first time. But anyway, I'm pretty sure. Let me know in the comments if you remember. He put the team on his back, dude. It was like a meme, a football meme back in the day. Oh, you got it. Oh, man. NFL Blitz is basically football with minimal rules. So first downs are not first and 10. It's 30 yards to a first down. 6 points for a touchdown, 3 points for a field goal. Still can catch a safety. Still can go for two. But there's no substitutions. You kind of just deal with what you get and whatnot. Is he going to put the team on his back? Nope. Rodgers stiff arms somebody. You don't never see that happen. That never happens in the real world, does it? Aaron Rodgers does not stiff arm anybody. And realistically speaking, yeah, right. No one bought into that. Where's that guy? That guy was like, I need to go take a shower, dude. I got to get out of here. So, yeah, NFL Blitz, another EA-owned title. They picked up Midway's original IPs. What is all Vernon Davis? Whatever happened to that guy? Whatever happened to that guy? And then Frank Gore right there recently retired. Alex Smith. Boy, he got a raw deal, huh? But that's another story and a half. He went on to play many more years after San Francisco. Yeah, we need a new game. I think you could basically have some of the modes. Some of the modes are actually pretty dope. Unfortunately, they're hiding behind the terms of service for EA, and they shut down the server, so you can't accept them. But like, you can build your own teams. You can sign players to contracts. You could take those teams you created online. Like, for instance, I actually had Marshawn Lynch on the Raiders. This was back when he was still on the Seahawks in this particular game. Greg Jennings. There we go. That's his name, 85 right there, Greg Jennings. And then he ended up coming to the Raiders like, what was that, 6 or 7 years later, running for Oakland. And so, yep, there he is right there. That's so funny. It's kind of surreal when you think about it, because there's only certain players who have actually played long enough to be in every NFL Blitz game. I'm looking at you, Peyton Manning. There's been so many players who have put on the pads and uniform for these teams, and a lot of changes have happened over the years. I think as much casual fun as this would be, I don't think it's going to be a thing because of Madden. I don't play Madden. I am not a fan of Madden. I don't even think I even own a Madden game. I'd much rather play NFL Blitz. Realistically, I'd much rather play Tecmo Bowl. But we got to focus on the task at hand. Aaron Rodgers going for two. He gets it. NFL Blitz, everybody. We need a new one. Let's go to the next game. Okay, so for the next game, it's a continuation of the arcade style sports games that Midway put out back in the day. This one is 2-on-2 NHL Open Ice Challenge. So they took the same concept from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz and made it a hockey game. A 2v2 hockey game. You have a goalie, and there's really not much in the way of rules here. There's no icing. There's no fighting. High sticking's okay. You can trip people. There are literally no rules in reference to this except for score, knock people down, and that's it. They had all the teams. There was an arcade release, and then there was a PlayStation, and I believe, it was PlayStation and PC release for this particular game. The arcade version is still the best version, in my opinion, as they had all these secret characters that did not translate to the PlayStation game due to data limit restrictions. We got ourselves a fun one here. One of the codes is playing everybody's favorite guy from NRS, Ed Boon, of all people. He was working at Midway at the time because Mortal Kombat was a Midway title, and he got into the game. He was a secret character in NBA Jam as well. Tournament edition. So, again, all the teams are here from the NHL circa 1993, I believe 94, and even all of the great players that you may or may not even be familiar with. Wayne Gretzky right here was on the LA Kings back in the day, and it's so funny seeing Ed Boon with the stick in his hand. Look at that slap shot goal. He's got a backhand. Okay, from top of the circle there. Wins the draw, tries to pass it. Nope. A lot of traffic up front. The Anaheim Ducks. The Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. Let's say it right. You gotta say it all one time, like a Tribe Called Quest. You gotta say it at the same time. Boone coming through. Shadow Step. Nothing. As you check him. Ooh, look at that check right there. See, this is fun. Gretzky with a goal from the bottom circle. Already 2-0. LA Kings. So, this is good for the casual. Again, there is an on-fire mechanic in this game, albeit it's more than scoring 3 goals at a time. You see that little bar under their names is the fire meter. Once it starts glowing yellow, you get on fire and you have infinite turbo. Like right there, Gretzky's got a glowing meter there if he scores another goal, which this might be it right here. Ooh, one-timer. Nope. Oh, they got the puck back. Korea coming down the line. Nope. Boone's like, this is fine. Okay. Gretzky. No. Lost it. Curvers trying to get one in. Nope. Gretzky's like, me. Right. No. And you go back and forth. The only downside I had to this game, this is back in the day, hockey rules where overtimes were sudden death. Meaning first goal wins. So even if you get to an overtime match, you literally can lose in 5 seconds or less. Oh, what a check by Boone. Boone coming up top side. Flattens the goalie with a massive slap shot. Oh, here we go. Right here. Oh, no. Gretzky from the blue line doesn't get fire. But the PlayStation version of this game, like I said, they updated the stats, but they only had one secret character, which was Gordie Howe, the legendary Detroit Red Wing. So if you play him on the PlayStation version of this game, you are subjected to playing him on the Red Wings only. He's only available for the Red Wings, and you can only play the Red Wings if you use that character. But also the Winnipeg Jets, if you noticed in the previous clip, the Winnipeg Jets, that was their final year in Winnipeg before they moved to Phoenix. In the current day and age of the NHL, I believe the Winnipeg Jets are still a team. The Atlanta Thrashers moved from Atlanta to Winnipeg and became the Winnipeg Jets yet again, a 2.0 version. So, I think this is fun. Personally, I know there's been other arcadey hockey games where they have, I think it's like 3v3 or what have you. But I really feel there was a lost opportunity to keep this game going. I know there's been other arcade games with other big names. I know Wayne Gretzky had a 3D hockey game back in the day. But it wasn't nearly as fun as this. Looks pretty good on PlayStation. I know they took out some of the names and took out some of the way they explain stuff. Then the audio track was just literally one song the whole time. But NHL Open Ice Challenge, I honestly believe this is a good game. I played this a lot in Circus Reno when they had arcades everywhere. Granted, now they only have like one arcade in the whole building. And that was the arcade that's in the midway where all the circus acts are every hour. But unfortunately, the arcades is kind of dying out that way. But at the very least, we have other arcade vendors available to kind of soothe the palate, as they say. Boy, they're lighting this guy up, dude. My goodness. Oh, well, Paul Korea's like, yeah, we got to put a stop to that, like right now. So these types of games are kind of lost to time, my opinion. You don't really get arcadey style sports games anymore. I know they recently put out, I believe it was NBA Superstar, which was kind of like a 3v3 basketball game that's trying to be NBA Jam, but it's not. Oh, there's the On Fire. There it is. So now you have infinite turbo, but of course, as soon as they score a goal, it's done. You don't get it back. Rip. So yeah, NHL, Open Ice, play it any way you can. It emulates well on MAME. If you want to play the console version, PlayStation version, this is the version you're seeing right here. check it out. It's fun. So let's move on to our next game. And finally, we have the game that actually inspired this whole rundown of listings for this special, Need for Speed The Run. Now, I get that when it comes to Need for Speed, you guys are thinking track stuff, you're thinking Underground, you're thinking Most Wanted, which Most Wanted was good. I'm talking about the original, not the remake. But this one right here is my personal favorite. Need for Speed The Run is a story-driven racing game where you control Jack Rourke, a man who's in trouble, as you can watch. This is the intro here. Starts out kind of straightforward, like, oh yeah, look at these really cool wheels. And it's like, Electronic Arts presents. And then they're like, oh yeah, still look at how cool this car looks. It's a Porsche. Everybody loves Porsche. This is back when EA had the exclusive rights to Porsche. Presenting a black box production. And then there's more of the car to look at. Look at the front trunk. I know they call it the frunk, but that just sounds weird to me. No, doesn't it sound weird to you? Yeah, well, those most of the Porsches are rear wheel drive, rear mounted engines. So they have a lot of understeer when it comes to them. Here's Jack. He's looking a little passed out. We got a mark under his eye. Might have gotten jostled around a little bit. You got to do something about that facial hair, bro. Either full beard or nothing at all. Come on, man. So he wakes up. Oh, it's a goatee. My bad. Goatee. Anyway, he wakes up very disoriented. Like, where am I? What is going on here? And come to find out, he's somewhere where he definitely does not want to be. And of course, he realizes he's duct taped to the steering wheel. And this is a car crusher yard. And isn't that the same red car we were just looking at? Why, yes. Yes, it is. They have it set up to be crushed with him in the car, duct taped to the steering wheel. Apparently, he got in some trouble with some, how you say, unsavory people, and they don't want him to be around much longer to talk about it. But in all fairness, in this theatrical style of OMG, what's going on here? You don't want to think they would do a little bit more to confirm the situation at hand as the car crusher is coming in. And this is the start of the game. This beautiful car getting crushed with you in it, and here we go. Quick time events, I think, is a lost art in racing games. I mean, quick time events in general are no longer really a thing. This would just play out as is without even worried about it. So he breaks free from the steering wheel, is able to punch a hole in the sunroof, and then climbs out of the car before the car gets crushed. And then he's like, I gotta muscle my way up before the car gets completely crushed, and then he just hops out. Now, mind you, those guys you saw their heads earlier are watching this whole thing unfold, and then they see him make a dart for the car. What? He's out of the car, go grab him! And he's like, well, you know what? You guys left keys in here. I know one thing, and that's driving. Someone turn. We're out of here. So you literally are leaving the junkyard as quickly as possible to escape from them. And we're going to shorten this just a little bit. You escape from them, and then you go... Oh, this is dramatic. Oh, the billboards are a sign of the times. There's a train there, and then your goal is to beat the train, which doesn't beat them. Car's all banged up, but hey, you survive. And moving on to the next section. So you go and meet up with a friend of yours at a Chinese food restaurant, because you know all the best deals happen in a Chinese food restaurant. Sam Harper here, a friend of his, as you can see, they go way back, and she is going to put him in the run, which is the cross-country race that is going to happen. So, somewhere in San Francisco, this is happening. You enter the restaurant, He's like, okay, this is the place. Even though he was just in that car moments ago or however long ago, he comes to the Chinese restaurant, meets up with Sam, takes a seat. Shout out to that fake sriracha bottle right there. Takes a drink and he's like, okay, we're going to shorten this a little bit. We're moving on to the next section of the conversation. So she's like, hey, you win. I'll cut you 10%. He's like, whoa, wait, 10%? That's chump change, girl. What you talking? And she's like, yeah, there's somebody else right there. She's like, by the way, that's 25 million if you win. So me cutting you 10% of 25 million, still big money. He's like, oh, are we talking 2.5 mil? Oh, shoot. Put me behind that wheel then. So as his handler, they meet up with the place, and she puts up the money to put him in this cross-country race. I think this is some great cinematography right here. So she puts the briefcase in. They're standing at the dumbwaiter waiting. It goes up a floor or two. The guy who's running the race is like, all right, let's check. Is everything here? Does this check out? Okay, yep, all the money's here. Here's your notepad. And now you're in the race. So Sam talks to him, Jack, throughout the whole endeavor, and that's your race point. You're racing from San Francisco to New York. Got to get a car. He's like, yeah, I got that. Don't worry. Got your fam. Teleport on. Need for Speed the Run. Yep. So then we teleport to, because there's loading screens in between all this. And this game's lost to time. You can't get this game on PlayStation 4. You can't get it on Xbox One. You can't get this game currently. It is unavailable on all platforms. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, please. I implore you. So he goes to the Embarcadero 4 hours after the meeting. I guess he took a nap or something because it was nighttime when he rolled into the restaurant. But then, as you see, once it loads up here, he gets to the garage and it's daylight outside. So the thing that's upsetting for me, since again this is one of those 360 titles, they have essentially nuked the server so you can't access any of your downloads anymore, even stuff you legitimately paid for. So I'm playing the limited edition of this particular game, but the limited edition code was a DLC code. So you have to have the license to show the DLC code to use the limited edition features. So that means the 911 Carrera S and the Camaro SS out the gate is unavailable to you. So you have to pick one of the other vehicles available. Of course, I'm a sucker for the 240Z. Thank you, Devil Z. Akio approves of this message. She entranced me and I haven't let go since. So, you get in the car, you get ready to roll, and you're off to the run. Your goal is to make it from the West Coast to the East Coast and be number one. Get that money. But of course, there isn't a straightforward race about it. There's going to be traffic. There's going to be hazards. There's going to be dirty racing. There's going to be, elements that play against you. It's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows. There's rain. There's snow. There's mud. There's dirt. And in all fairness, I just think it's a fun racing game. Like, having these, city tracks made on roads that may or may not be familiar to you, depending on where you are watching this or how much of a American road aficionado you are. You may or may not be familiar with these areas. We're from the West Coast here, so some of this stuff looks familiar. Like, I could look out we can cross the Bay Bridge right now. That's the Transamerica building. We know that one front and center right there. So, Need for Speed the Run. This game needs a remake. It's been, what are we, in the year 2024 as of the recording and posting of this particular video. Clean it up a little bit. Add some new cars. Keep the storyline the same if you want to. Maybe we need a continuation. Maybe we need the Run 2. Maybe we need some backstory, some expanded story. How did he get in the car with the duct tape? They kind of don't explain that. They say, oh yeah, the mob got a hold of him and caused this whole scenario, and they want this and that and the other, and the Run's going to help him get out of that. And it's like, wait a minute, what do you mean? What's that supposed to mean? So one of the things that really, unfortunately, is not going to be shown here in this clip, since we're so deeply invested in this time-wise, is there are sponsorships that you are familiar with. There are gas stations that come across your route, and they are sponsored by Shell Gasoline. They look exactly like a Shell station would. These particular stops, oh look, and the cops are in your way. They're like, hey, you guys are having an illegal street race across the country, is it? Oh yeah, no, we can't have you doing that. Just can't do it. Don't do it. So back to the gas station. So the gas stations allow you to change your vehicle. So if you are in a scenario where you are getting cooked by a section because it's really tough, you can pull into this gas station mid-race. It'll kind of give you a moment. It'll pause your timing on the race to let you decide what you want to do. And you can change your car. Now, as a loyalist, I love the 240Z. I would love to use the car at any interval where possible. But I can tell you right now, she is not as strong in this particular game as she is in Long and Midnight Maximum Tune. So there will be some concessions you may have to make in order for you to progress through the run, especially in the harder difficulties where timing is tight and mistakes cannot be had. She struggles on the uphill quite mightily. So, Need for Speed the Run, we just need an updated, just an HD remake. That's nostalgia's big going into 2025. A lot of the consistent on-service shooter games are doing some nostalgic stuff. Why can't racing games have some sort of nostalgia? We deserve that too. But that, again, is Need for Speed the Run. Let me know in the comments other games you might be interested in and hearing me talk about it, because I love games of all genres, and we will play them to entertain you. So until the next time, whether it's tomorrow or next week, we will see you then, and you take care of yourself. We'll catch you later.